Hey guys, on this show, as you know, we always talk about how best to get the word out about your services, how to get the most traffic to your website so that people know that you even exist in the world. However, on this episode, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I want to introduce you to a gentleman that's going to talk about how to protect your business. I know I've had attorneys here talk about protecting your business from a legal standpoint, but we're going to talk about how to protect your business from the cyber gods. So with that, I'm going to bring you on to this episode. You're going to love it.
Hello, and welcome to Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. If you are not getting the results you are looking for from your digital marketing efforts, this is the podcast for you. And now, here's the host of our show, the local business guy himself, Frank Deming.
Hello, everyone. This is Frank Deming, the local business guy, and welcome to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, everyone. I hope you guys are having a rocking week thus far. Today, as I said in the pre-intro, I am going to introduce to you a gentleman that is going to scare the living daylights out of you. I'm only joking. He's not going to do that. He's here to protect you. I know we usually talk about marketing on this show. However, today, I want to talk to you about protecting your business from cyber attacks. So there's no other person that's going to be better equipped to inform you with that information than my good friend, Mr. Ryan Barrett. Hey, Brian. Hey, Ryan. Welcome to the show.
Hey, how are you, Frank? It's so good to have you, or so good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. No problem. I already gave a little bit of talk to the audience here about who you are in the pre-intro, but in your own words, who is Ryan Barrett? Who are you and what do you do?
I'm just an average guy. Put my pants on one leg at a time. No, what we do at ORAM Corporate Advisors here is we protect your most important asset. And some people are going to say that's your business, but at the end of the day, it's your money and your family, right? Because your money puts food on the table for your family. So what do? We look at businesses of all types. So it could be anywhere from law office, medical, finance, nonprofit, could be a restaurant. And we want to make sure that you're not leaking liability so that, you could get sued, or you might be liable for things that are going on in your everyday business. So we kind of do a deep inspection to make sure that you're doing business correctly. And also it's cyber secure so that you can do business from now till forever. Yeah, I guess that's the easiest way to put it.
Awesome. So, what kind of businesses do you normally serve? Like what kind of industries?
So we like businesses that have a regulatory being above it. So what does that mean? That means like if you're in finance, you have the SEC. If you're investing other people's money, you have the SEC or OC that overlooks your assets and what you do on a normal day-to-day basis. If you're in law, you have the Department of Justice. And why is this important? Medical, you have the HIPAA compliance and a few other things like that. Nonprofit, obviously, the few characteristics that you have to meet. And why is this important is when your data is being watched over by someone else and they're saying, hey, you really need to take care of this. That's important to you as an organization. It's also very important to us as a cybersecurity professional. So we both have skin in the game to make sure it's correct and it's completely secured for, day-to-day operations.
Okay. So if, like, for instance, I every year I get, and I hate this form, I have to fill out this PCI compliance form from my merchant. Is that something that's something that you guys protect, if you will, or?
Yeah. So think about that. That PCI compliance form says, hey, when you're swiping that customer's credit card information, hey, where do you store the credit card data? Is it locked? Is it whatever? All these questions that you go, am I really doing it right? That's a very good example of like them asking the question, so that if you were ever to be unfortunately, affected by a breach, that makes you liable or less liable, right? So they're saying, I'm going to put the liability back on you, your business. And that's why they ask you that every year. And so we help with that. We make sure that if there is ever a breach, that everyone steps up and makes sure to help save your company type of scenario.
So you're on our side, not the PCI compliance side.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I'm just wanting to make sure.
I was going to say, I want to be the Harvey Specter that you hire. If anyone knows, that's, you want to be the guy that's like helping out to make sure to fix the problem.
Right. Hey, Ryan, I wanna take you back about 2 years ago, maybe 3 years now. Man, time is flying. And where you scared the living bejeebies out of me when you talked about the dark web. I want to educate my audience here. Most of my audience, just so you know, are the people who listen to this show. Mostly are attorneys. They're looking for marketing help and all that kind of stuff. So since you do service attorneys, this will from a protection standpoint, I think this is a good segue. So you scared the living bejeebies out of me about the dark web. And I know a lot of these people probably don't even know about it. Maybe they've heard about it. Can you tell us a little bit about the dark web and what is the bad thing if you're in the dark web? What are your liabilities when that happens?
Okay, so it's an interesting topic because people like hear about it, but then they kind of gloss it over. Anytime you hear cybersecurity or dark web, everyone's like, they fall asleep, right?
Whatever,
so let's just right? You stick your head in the sand, right? So let me just break it down real simple. Major institutions out there have had data breaches. We hear about it all the time. And let's use, if we're talking to like lawyers and CPAs right now, we all use LinkedIn, right? And LinkedIn, we know, has had breaches in the past. And then you're like, oh yeah, whatever. And by the way, when LinkedIn has a breach and they say, hey, I know Frank's email address and password because that's what Frank used to log into LinkedIn with. Guess what? It's not that day that they do a breach on Frank and his business, is they store it in this massive database. Let's call that the dark web. And now comes along nefarious hacker and says, I would like those 50 or 5 million email address and passwords for everyone. Let me buy that from XYZ hacker that did the LinkedIn thing. So we want to let Frank and his business and associates know that, hey, your password that you used that, I like, trees 1, 2, 3 is out there on the dark web. And that's what we're trying to get to, is so that that a hacker knows that your password that you use most likely everywhere is out there. And so as a human being, we tend to use similar passwords for different sites that we go on. And, without using a password manager, that's very, very common. So what we do is we scour the dark web and we let you know that your password is out there and available for use and is actively being pursued by hackers.
Now, do you take them off the dark web or you just let them know?
So the dark web is like Amazon. So it's literally it's literally like a marketplace. So if I were to buy a stool on Amazon, I can get the stool and be happy with it, but there's many more stools to be purchased. So if you are a hacker that has all these passwords, you want to sell it as many times as possible. So you don't ever take it off the dark web. It's not like Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's always out there and can be purchased over and over and over again.
Really?
Yes.
Oh man, see, I don't recall you telling me that 2-3 years ago, but maybe you did and I forgot.
You completely locked that out of the brain, right?
Yeah, because I thought I'd just changed my password. I'm good. So yeah, use my old password. I don't care.
Oh, perfect, right? So that's what we want. That's exactly the action that we want. Because now you say, oh, I can never use that type of password ever again. Right. Because so you know that someone else knows that password or something similar to it. So you changed your behavior, and that's what we want. So we know that's always going to be out there. So never use anything like it ever again. And that's what we want.
Okay. So that's how you protect it.
Yeah.
Interesting. So let's talk about cyber liability leaks in our businesses. Let's shift gears here, because I'm sure that the audience wants to know a little bit about that.
Great lead in. So I will tell you a little, like, keep using this dark web story, right? And so let's call Frank, you're now a CFO at a company. Someone out there has your password, logs in, and then they say, okay, let me try to log into Frank's corporate account, your email account. We all know that everything in the world resides in our email and our mailboxes. But what if the hacker doesn't do anything besides just log in and just waits, patiently waits and looks at all the transactions? You know what happens about now? Everyone's trying to get their tax return ready, and someone might be sending some pretty important information over email that they aren't supposed to, but they do anyways. And so the hacker waits and says, oh, now is my opportunity. Frank's about to pay his taxes. I'm going to change the wiring instructions for Frank for his business. And so immediately before the tax payment goes out, goes into my bank account. And so this is a liability leak. And we're renewing health insurance, and everyone's social security number is being either come in or secured email going in and out of the mailbox. Now the hacker has all of the employees' information as well. So this is a real simple liability leak that can happen to CFOs, CEOs out there of hackers just sitting on the mailbox, waiting for something to happen, a wire, instructions, things like that. And then boom, they attack immediately, quick, and they're in and out.
So I want to go back a little bit because that's interesting, but I do want to go back and ask you, so how is it obtained? Is it easily obtained? Like, let's say you're at a Starbucks and you're using their wireless thing and you bank into you log into your bank account through your mobile app. Is that how passwords are obtained?
So passwords are obtained many, many ways, but the number one way that they are obtained is usually phishing. And what does that mean? So you get a nefarious link in your email, you click on it, it says, hey, to look at this email or to look at this, you need to enter your username and password. And most users are like, oh, I thought I entered that already. And they quickly type it in. Boom. You're now entered into that database. And that's a real-time username and password. The Starbucks scenario, we don't love, public Wi-Fi, but that's a whole different other scenario where people could be like looking over your shoulder and being like trying to, garner information from you, or because you're sending information over that public Wi-Fi, everyone can see that traffic going across from your laptop or your device. So they can grab that. They can capture those packets and disseminate that later. So that's why we never say, don't go to Starbucks and go banking, and don't go to Starbucks and try to trade your portfolio, right? Don't do your taxes in a Starbucks right. So try to keep it, as light as possible when you're on those public Wi-Fis.
Okay. All right. Sorry for segmenting you back to the whole dark web thing. Cause I just, cause now every time I ever go to any public Wi-Fi, like Starbucks or whatever, like for instance, just the other day, I got my car service at the Infinity, and, they have a public Wi-Fi there. So I'm like just sitting there waiting for my car. And I was about to do something, and I remembered, I'm like, I'm not, I'm just gonna scroll and look at Facebook. I'm gonna look, I'm not logged. I'm already logged in, so there's no problem. So,
so the best part about it is, like, think about when you jump on a public Wi-Fi, you just entered a club. You're in the middle of a party, right? It could be 50 people like all around you. And that's what you need to, what would you do if there were 50 people like shoved in your office? You wouldn't do any of that sort of stuff, right? No. You would be cautious about it. But that's the mindset that you need on a public Wi-Fi. And forget about it. You go to the airport, it could be thousands of people shoved in your office. And so think about that aspect. You would not do certain actions if you were in the middle of a crowded room.
Yeah. Does that hold true though? Even if let's say I don't log, because I mean, our mobile phones have just as much internet access anyway. So can I, if I'm not on the public Wi-Fi, but I'm in my mobile phone's Wi-Fi, what's the?
You're pretty good there. You're pretty good there. You're on the Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile network, whatever it is. Yeah. That's a direct connection. So you're reducing that crowded room to a room of one. Now it's Frank's cell phone.
Okay. So there you go, guys. Don't go into that Hey, free Wi-Fi. Don't fall for
it. Exactly. I will tell you an inside joke is we have a free Wi-Fi that we publish here in our building, our commercial building here in Newton. And we do it for one reason only. We see how many people want to jump on it and get access because it's a learning moment. And then we have a splash page that pubs up and like gives them a little information about free Wi-Fi. So be very, very careful.
Yeah, and it's funny. I never log into the hotel ones either. When you go to a Sheraton or 12 Marriott or whatever, I never. Oh, your password is your last name and your room number.
Right.
Come on, man.
Dead giveaway, right?
Yeah, no. So, hey guys, I hope you guys are enjoying the content that our guest is bringing you today. Incidentally, speaking of the guests, if you would like to be a guest on this show, if there's something that you would like to promote when it comes to digital marketing or anything within your business that you would like to promote, give us a call at 888-416-7752 or simply send us an email at info@lbmsllc.com. Someone from my office will then send you the podcast intake form and we will schedule you on the show. So if that's something you would like to do, go ahead and do that and I'll put you on the show. For now, enjoy the rest of the show. All right, so let's get back to the whole cyber liability leaks. I'm sorry for throwing you off that because you were on a tangent. I just want to find out about that. So, what our businesses can do to protect that?
Yeah. Okay. Great. So, the CDC says we're all dealing with coronavirus or COVID-19,
yep.
right? So the CDC says wash your hands for 20 seconds. We say take those 20 seconds to read through the email effectively before you make an action. So think about this. You get an email that you did not expect to get. You get an email from a buddy that says, hey, check out this video. And you're like, I haven't talked to this buddy in 20 years. Do not click on that video. Second guess and be like, I don't think he meant to. Pick up the phone, call your buddy and say, hey, did you mean to send me this? And I would say 80% of the chance it's going to be no, I didn't send that to you. I had an incident. And so let's go over the, how to really look at an email. I got 7 points for you real quick. Watch for overly generic content. Content that is like, oh, check this swimsuit video, check this, check me on Etsy type of stuff. Look, cyber criminals send large batch of emails like dear valued customer. So look for, once you see that it's overly generic, raise a red flag. Examine the entire email address. Does that domain look right? I know that I usually talk to Frank from an LBMS address, and this is coming from Gmail. Is that really him talking to me? 3, look for urgency. Hey, go to CVS and get me $500 worth of gift cards. Wait a minute. My buddy would not tell me to do that normally. My boss would not tell me to do that normally. So you have to be like, and it's an urgent action. Carefully check all the links. So if there's a link there, hover over it. Do it either on your iPhone, Android, or even in your email platform. Just hover over the link. If it's supposed to go to like Microsoft and it's going to like some numbers and some overly generic, don't click that link. Look for misspellings and grammar. Once again, we said these nefarious actors, right? They're trying to shove these emails to as many people as possible. And they're usually they're probably somewhere international. So sometimes there may be grammar, odd phrasing and words. Does this person really normally talk like that? Be very, very careful. Another red flag needs to go up. This one is really, really simple. If you are clicking on a link in that email or something, look for HTTPS in the beginning of the website link. And Frank knows this being a marketer, right? So that S stands for secure. So it's not just a website, it's a secure website. And to be a secure website, you have to have what? An SSL certificate. There's a third-party authorizer to say that this website is legit. So look for that. Another quick little tip there, and you should be in good shape.
Now, those links, though, if you do click on it, you don't look for all that stuff. You click on it. Are they viruses or what's?
Could be. It could be anything. The viral payload could be a virus. It could be, like we said earlier, it's just a link to say, hey, if you really want to see this document that I sent you, put in your username and password. Remember, these people are phishing, like real phishing. So they're trying to set the hook in the end user's mouth to say, hey, I want you to take some sort of action for me to get more information from you.
Yeah. And a lot of people fall for that, don't they?
So phishing over email is probably 85% of most cybersecurity attacks under small businesses today.
Wow.
And you know what the average breach is? How much to recover from it? $2.94 million.
Really?
So think about that. So a CEO, CFO clicks on the link, puts in their username and password. The company goes on the breach. You have to do credit monitoring under everyone in the entire company, plus all of their clients for the next 24 months. And it's a $3 million hit to the business. And most cybersecurity insurance, everyone takes it out about $1 million. So you see the disparity there. You have $2 million of a hole. You know what that means? You're closed.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah. So see, I didn't even know there was cybersecurity insurance. Really? There's many. Really?
I gotta educate Frank. We gotta take this offline. But yes. Yes.
Really?
We highly recommend cybersecurity insurance. It could be a rider on your EPLI, your employment liability insurance. It could be a rider on your BOP, your business operating insurance. So I definitely highly recommend it.
But you got to make sure you have enough coverage. You can't just do $1 million. You got to,
So there's two things to do. First of all, you have to make sure you have enough coverage. But second of all, you have to also make sure you're abiding by what the insurance company wants you to do, right? Because they're going to ask, hey, do you have multi-factor authentication on your email? And so most people just go, yes. But what happens if you get a hack and you actually don't? Then you're not covered. Yeah. So it's all these things that you're like, okay, and we can talk about what multi-factor, I can share that with your audience, is. We all know this. You ever log into a bank account or a website, they send you a text message afterwards. They're just saying, hey, is this really you? You should do that on everything in your world.
Yeah.
Everything in your world.
Prior to knowing you, Ryan, I used to hate that thing. Now I have it everywhere. I have it on my Gmail. I have it, I have it on my LBMS email. I have it on that. I definitely have it on my. Let me rephrase that. I used to always only have it on my bank account, my bank. That's the only place I would have it. But everything else, I never had it. I even have it on Facebook.
Right. So let me tell you a quick story. Right. So your bank was the first one that probably introduced it to you. Like, hey, we're having, we want you to do this because we want to know it's really Frank logging into his bank account. So if your bank is doing it, right, what would happen if someone stole your email password and you didn't have it, right? They would take over your entire world. They could reset your bank account. They could reset your cell phone provider. They could reset your PayPal account. So your digital landscape is so much larger than just your bank account now. Yeah. It's got to be everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, I do that. I mean, it's great. Sometimes I even log into my laptop. And if I go, it's funny, I've done this. I'll go, like, say, for the first time, I just got a new laptop. So the first time I went to my girlfriend's house and I logged in from there, it said it was at a different IP address. So I sent a message to my phone. Was this you that logged in? I just typed yes. Yeah. And then all of a sudden my screen popped up. I was like, wow.
Perfect. That's exactly what you want. We want to know it's you logging into your email. That's because it's so important. Your digital landscape is so large now. There's many different attack vectors, and you definitely want that multi-factor authentication in everywhere.
So would you recommend these types of steps for all companies? Or like what I know what your sweet spot is, but what a type of industries that you think really need to hone in on their cyber security protection?
I'm going to put it really simple. Do you have $10 in your bank account?
Yeah, so everybody.
Because if you have $10 in your bank account, somebody else in the world wants to take it, and they want to take it as easy as possible. And all of what we're talking about today is just layers of security in your bulletproof vest, right? And so we're not saying that people aren't going to shoot bullets at you or they're not going to try to get in, but we're going to make it much harder for them to hit your skin. That bulletproof vest, all these things we're talking about is different layers slowing down that bullet before it hits you and shedding it away, right? It's going to happen. They're going to try and keep trying and keep trying. It's only going to get worse, but let's have the conversation to slow down that effect on your body. In other words, your business.
Yeah, it's kind of like having an alarm on your car. I mean, they're going to try to break in, but the alarm will probably mitigate the damages.
Yeah, you got the alarm, you got the door locked, but you can still break the window, right? So we got to look at like a whole different thing. So we also use another terminology that car accidents happen, but instead of wrecking your car, it's going to be a small little fender bender, and you're going to be able to get over it very quickly.
Get over it. Awesome. Well, this has all been great, Ryan. I mean, I know you scared the bejeebies out of the whole audience here, but is there anything that I didn't ask you that you think will benefit the audience?
One thing that we say there, to protect your business, what we said, get the facts. That's what we're talking about right now. Check the links twice, look for suspicious attachments if you can, automate a lot of your compliance. So if you don't know, when I say compliance, when you're making sure that all your end users and stuff have multi-factor authentication, or if you do, ask for help, raise your hand, say, hey, reach out to Frank, find someone like myself, a certified professional to be able to help you out to say, here's the liability leaks that we're seeing, and so that you can solve those problems. And also what we're doing today, Frank, this is the most important. Educate. Let's have the conversation. Like Frank says, I scared him a couple of years ago, but let's all talk about it, right? And so that we can all learn from each other as a society, because the smarter we are, the better as a whole we will be as a unit.
Yeah, I hear you. You know what's interesting, Ryan? I've noticed that when people can't see something, they're just unaware. Like, for instance, we use a car as an example. If you say, hey, don't you want to protect your car and have an alarm? And then it's a tangible thing. It's, they see it, they can touch it, and that they want to protect this. But for some reason, cyber stuff, since you can't see it, it's all in the cloud, if you will. People tend to I don't know. So it's good that we are educating them. So, there you have it, folks. You gotta protect it and get the right number of insurance. So I got to find out a little bit more about that. But I will put all of your links, Ryan, in the show notes so that people can get a hold of you. There you've been educated by Ryan Barrett. Folks, if you own a business, any type of business, if you got $10 in your business account, I would say you need to think about protecting all of your assets in terms of the business. And there's no other better person to do that to contact Ryan Barrett. All his information is in the show notes. So with that, folks, I am going to bid farewell to this episode. This has been Frank Deming, the local business guy, and you've just been blessed by the great Ryan Barrett. Take care, everyone. Until next week. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Solutions for Local Businesses, the podcast where you will discover all the latest and greatest digital marketing tools, tips, and strategies you will need to implement in order to stay ahead of your competition. Don't forget, any links that were mentioned during the broadcast will be available to you in the show notes, so be sure to grab them while you have the chance. Incidentally, if you have any topics that you would like for us to discuss on the show, be sure to send an email to the email provided in the show notes, or click the Contact Us link and let us know what topic you would like us to help you with, and we'll be sure to add it to our schedule. If you would like for Frank and his team to look at your digital marketing presence and give you a free evaluation, simply click the Request a Free Consultation link in the show notes to get a hold of them. That being said, until our next episode, Make it a successful digital marketing day. Peace out.